Okay, so today we're going to be talking about factoring trinomials that go into the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. Now these could be, a, b, and c could be different numbers, different coefficients that go in front of that variable. Okay, but we need to be able to factor these into the two parentheses that we've seen in the last few days. Okay, to do that, we're going to have to follow some steps. Okay, and so we're going to take some notes today over the different steps of solving these problems. So I'm going to pause the video just enough time for you guys to go ahead and get out a piece of paper so you can take these notes. Okay, so if you're given a problem like this, all right, and we need to factor this into our two parentheses. For an example, okay, so for the example, we're going to use, we're going to start out simple. We'll have x squared plus 7x plus 12. Okay? All right, so our first step is the easiest step. We're going to draw our two parentheses. That's super easy, right? Our second step is to assign signs. That's fun to say. Assign signs. All right. This is where we're going to really need some notes here. Okay? First thing you look at, the second sign in the problem. Okay? For our example here, it's a plus sign. Okay? Does everybody see that? Plus, it means it's the same. Minus means it's different. Okay? Now, what I mean by that, since we have a plus sign, right? Since we have a plus sign in our example here, I know that both signs that are going to go in here are going to be the same. Now, if it was a minus sign, then the signs that I would put in here would be different. Okay, so second part of this is to use the first sign. Okay, so now that I have that written down, let me explain what I'm talking about. All right, we're looking at our second sign in our problem up here. It's a plus sign, so what does that tell me? It's going to be the same. So I'm going to use my first sign to figure out what they need to be. First sign is also a plus sign. So now I know that since they're the same, both of these are going to have plus signs right there. Okay, so, and I'm going to go back to that page so you can write that stuff down. But that means that if we were to have, let's say, x squared minus bx plus c. Second sign is a plus sign, so I know I'm going to have the same. Both of them are going to be, well, that's not a good way to put it. Both of them are going to be the minus signs. Okay?
If the second sign is a plus sign, they're both going to be minus signs?
If the second sign is a plus sign, they're both going to have that sign that came before.
What does plus sign?
All right, so in this situation, it would be something, it would be a minus sign in there. If it was x squared minus bx, say that's a plus. The second sign is a plus sign, so I know that I'm going to have the same as that right there, so it would be two pluses. Okay.
So what if the second one is the minus sign?
That's what we're getting to. All right, so if the second one is a minus sign, that tells us our signs are going to be different, right? So I'm going to have a plus and a minus. Does not matter what this is yet. Okay. All right, so
Matter which one the plus and minus go in, which side it goes in.
we'll talk about it.
You can move the number.
All right. The last step is to find the factors of A and C and then plug them in. Find the factors of A and C and plug them in. So what in this example that we're doing up here, what is my A in this example?
X squared.
Well,
Nothing, it's one.
it's 1. All right, ax squared. That would be a 1x squared, right? So what are the factors of 1? 1. Okay, so I don't have to, I know it's going to be 1x and 1x. So that's simple. Okay, our first term in the parentheses is always going to have an x. That's what gives us that x squared. All right, so in this particular one, it's not too bad. Now we got to look at our factors of 12. What are the factors of 12? There's 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Now, which one of those would come together to make 7? 3 and 4. And now we're done. All right, so this is a very brief example. We're going to do a whole bunch of examples today so that you can get a better idea. So I'm going to keep using some of these easier problems that have just x squared. They don't have an a yet. We'll work into the a. But we'll do some examples of those as well. So let's say we have x squared plus 8x plus 15. All right, well, what do I know about the signs inside of these parentheses? They're both going to be plus signs. Okay, I already know that my factors of the 1x squared is just going to be x and x. Okay, those will multiply together to make x squared. Now, as far as factors for 15, I've got 1 and 15, 3 and 5, which would make 8. 3 and 5. There we go. Some of these are really easy. All right, they're going to get a little tougher. All right. All right, let's say x squared minus 11x plus 24. What do I know about my signs inside?
They're both going to be minus.
They're both minus. I know that I have an x and an x, because that's pretty simple. What are my factors of 24? 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Good. All right. Which one of those will make the 11? 3 and 8. All right. All right. I'll tell you, when the second sign is a plus sign, they're pretty easy, especially if your a is 1. But let's look at this. Let's say x squared plus 2x minus 15. Now, what do I know about my signs on the inside?
That they're going to be subtraction.
They're going to be different. Okay? I know that I have an x and an x. Okay, so now I need the terms of 15. There's 1 and 15, 3 and 5. Now, since they're going to be different, we're no longer adding them together. They're going to be opposite. So which one of these would subtract to give me 2?
5 and 3.
5 and 3. Okay, so let's say I did this. Okay, now that would be a positive 3x and a negative 5x, right? Which would give us negative 2x. Now, is that correct?
No.
No. Okay, so Drew, you asked earlier, does it matter where we put the signs? Yes, it does. Okay, if we end up getting the opposite of what we're wanting, then we just need to go ahead and flip those signs. That's all you got to do. Okay. The easier way of doing this is to say this right here is a positive 2x, right? So I want to make it to where my bigger number has the positive before it. Okay, so that's a way of getting that done.
So you can switch the signs?
But if it was a -2, you want your small one.
Yeah, you just erase it and write them on the opposite side. All right, let's try this. X squared minus 2x minus 35. Okay, I know I'm going to have different signs. Now, I'm going to go ahead and wait to put them in because I know that I might have to switch them. I have x and x because this is one of the easy problems. And now I got to come up with my factors of 35. Now, can anyone think of factors of 35 that would...
5 and 7.
5 and 7 are going to have a difference of 2. So I know I have 5 and 7. This will be plus, this will be minus, because I want the -7 to be the bigger number.
Can't you just put the signs in and then flip the numbers?
Why you said the plus
Yeah.
sign?
Yes, you can do that, but
Yeah.
you're going to see that it's about to get a little bit harder when we have an A. Because right now, A is 1, so it's super easy.
Yeah, but it's a negative.
But it's a -2.
All right, now, here's something they'll throw at you to freak you out. You ready? You ready for me to freak you out?
No.
Let's do it. Yeah. Do it.
X squared plus 6xy
What?
minus 55y squared. All right. Nothing changes here in a situation like this. Okay. The only thing is now our second number in the parentheses is going to have a y attached to it. So I already know that I have x, and I know that my signs are going to be different. So what is a factor of 55 that would give me 6 as the difference? 5 and 11. So 5y and 11y. Which one gets the positive sign?
11. Then, yeah.
There we go. All right.
So that was easy. What was that one?
All right. So y'all ready for some harder ones? All right. All right. To start off with, I'm going to ease you in with one that's really not as hard as it could be. Wait. All right. So we have 5x squared plus 11x plus 2. Now, this is where it starts to be a little bit more fun. Okay? And fun is a weird term for me, but I enjoy this. Trying to figure out which set will go together to give us the answer that we're looking for. Because you're going to see now we're going to have to start trying different things before we get our answer. It's not as easy as just saying, well, obviously it's 5 and 11. Okay, now we're going to have to work for it a little bit more. All right, I know that my signs are going to be the same. All right, what are my factors for the ax squared going to be? 1 and 5. All right, so 5 has the factors of 1 and 5, and that's it. So I know I have an x and a 5x. All right, now what are my factors of 2? 1 and 2. Now, if I did this right here,
Oh, okay, how come you have an X and a 5X?
Because it's
So this will
5.
equal 11.
because of that,
Because 1 and X is its only factor.
2x.
we have an A now. We haven't had an A in the past.
Oh, you're sure.
Okay, so if we were to have this right here, that would give me 5x and 2x, which would add together to make what? 7x, not the 11x we're looking for. Okay? In this situation, if we just swap these, that would give me 10x. 1x together makes 11x.
So it has to equal the minimum.
Yep, that's the whole. We know that these numbers are going to equal A because that's how we got them. We used the factors of A. We know that these numbers are going to equal C because we used C to find them. Now we just have to put them in the right order so that we get B as a result. Okay, so, and again, this comes more naturally with the more examples that you do. So we're just going to keep, if you're still confused, that's fine. Just keep following along. I promise at some point it's going to click, and this is super easy. All right, so let's say we have 3x squared plus 4x minus 15. Now, in this situation, anytime we have prime numbers in A or C, so here or here, it makes things easier, okay? Because we already know that they're going to use the factors of 1 and 3 for our A. So I know I'm going to have an x and a 3x, okay? And I know that my signs are going to be different. Now, I put a plus and a minus, but I might end up having to flip those here in a little bit. So now, I've got 1 and 15, 3 and 5. I've got to use one of those. Okay? This is going to be where you have to, like, plan out what you're going to do and see what's going to happen. I know I'm going to be subtracting. So I can say 1 and 15. Now, that's going to give me 3 minus 15, which is a difference of 12. So that's not it. I could do 15 and 1. Now that's 45 minus 1 is 44. That's definitely not it. So I know it's going to be some combination of 3 and 5. That's 9 minus 5 gives me the 4 I'm looking for. Now, in this situation, that'd be a positive 9, right? And a negative 5, which would come together to give me the positive 4 that I'm looking for. So I don't need to flip the signs here. Okay? Now that being said, if I had done this earlier, just randomly, okay, you get negative 9 with a positive 5. That gives you negative 4 as the result. So we've got the number we want. The signs are just not right. All you have to do is flip those signs, and it fixes it for you. Okay. All right, so let's look at one that's really fun. All right, let's say we have, let's do something like this. Let's say 4w squared minus 5w minus 6. All right, now, these are realistically the tougher problems, okay, because they have that, because A and C are not prime. Okay, so there's multiple combinations of things that we can try here. All right, I know for 4 it's either 1 and 4 or 2 and 2. For 6 it's either 1 and 6 or 2 and 3. So we just got to play around with it until we figure out which one will give us a negative 5. All right, and that's why this is like a puzzle. Okay, so I'm going to use 2 and 2 first, because I don't have to worry about flipping those, right? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So we'll do 2w and 2w. All right, and let's try these over here. Let's say 1 and 6. That would give me 2 and 12, which would have a difference of 10. So not what we're looking for. Not what we're looking for. All right. Flipping it is not going to matter, right? I'm going to get 2 and 12 again. That's why I started with the 2 and 2. All right. Now, if I try 2 and 3, I get 4 and 6, which would have a difference of 2. Not what we want. All right. So now I know that it can't be this 2 and 2. So it's got to be 1 and 4. All right. And now let's play around and see which one we can find here. All right. 6 and 1 I can already tell is wrong. That's going to be 24 minus 1, which is 23. That would be 4 minus 6, which is 2. Doesn't work. So now I know 1 and 6 is definitely not it. So it's going to be 2 and 3 somehow. 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 1 is 3. That has a difference of 5. Okay? Now, do I have my signs correct?
No.
No, signs are not correct, because that would actually give me a positive 5. So I just flip them, and I'm done. All right. I'm going to have, there's one other thing they can do. One other thing they can do. They could give you something like this. And have you factor it. Now, these are big numbers. They're going to have quite a bit of different things in them. But here's the trick. If you look at this, is there anything I can pull out?
It's all divisible by 3.
They're all divisible by 3, right? So let's pull a 3 out. That would give me 3 6x squared minus 11x plus 4. All right, and now I could factor that, okay, which in the end would give you 3x minus 4 and 2x minus 1. Okay,
Wouldn't it be 2x?
Okay, all right. All I didn't go through the steps. I just went ahead and factored it automatically. I'll go through the steps. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I'm ignoring this 3. It's already there. I don't need to mess with it. I've already factored that 3 out. No need to touch it anymore. It's good. Signs are the same. They're both minus. Factors of 6 are 1 and 6 or 2 and 3. Now I used 2 and 3. Okay, so 2x, 3x. Factors of 4 are 1 and 4, 2 and 2. I used 1 and 4. This makes a negative 3. This makes a negative 8, which adds together to make negative 11. So this whole thing is the answer. All I did was pull out the 3 at the beginning so that I got to work with smaller numbers. And then I factored it the same way we've been factoring it. Alright, I'm going to have you do some examples on your own. You have that note paper. Okay, so on the video, I'm going to write up the problem, and then I'm going to pause the video, let you guys work on it, unpause it, so if you're watching the video, you can see how it's, done. Alright, so let's start out with an easier one. Let's say 2x squared plus 13x plus 6. Alright, I'm going to pause the video. If you're watching the video and you want to practice a problem, just pause the video too. Alright, so first thing you should have done, put your parentheses. Second sign is a plus, so we know both signs are going to be the same as this first sign, which is also a plus. Alright, our x it was a prime number, so the factoring that should have been easy. We know for a fact that it's got to be 1x and 2x. So now we just need a combination of factors of 6. So either 1 and 6, 6 and 1, 2 and 3, or 3 and 2. Now in this situation, it would have been 6 and 1, because that would have been 12x with a 1x, which makes 13x. Now, if you put 2x plus 1, 1x plus 6, those are the same thing.
What if you put 2?
Same thing. All I did was flip the sides.
Do you multiply them or add them? The things.
This right here, multiply. Think about the lessons that we have been doing, which is FOIL when we're redistributing. The whole reason that we're doing this is if we were to use FOIL, if we were to redistribute this, okay, it'd be 1x times 2x, which is 2x squared, plus 1x times 1, which is 1x, 6 times 2x, which is 12x, and then 6 times 1, which is 6. If you add together your like terms, you end up with 2x squared plus 13x plus 6, which is what we started with. Alright, let's do one that's a little more involved. Let's say 3x squared plus 23x minus 36. Okay, so we have our parentheses. Now that we know that signs are going to be different. Since a is prime, we know that the factors are going to be an x and a 3x. So now we have to go through all the factors of 36, which is 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, and 6 and 6. Alright, so since our signs are different, I'm going to be subtracting. Okay, so let's look at some of these. If I said, well, I can go through and kind of do them in my head here. 3 times 12 is 36, minus 3 is 33. Alright, 3 times 3 is 9, minus 12 is a negative 3, not what we're looking for. Okay, but 3 times 9 is 27, minus 4 would give me 23. So, if I do 9 here and 4 here, alright, that's a positive 27 with a negative 4 which would give me 23, just like I wanted. There we go. That is factoring polynomials. Or that's factoring trinomials. All right.